Hey guys, what's up? We've got quite a big topic to cover today. This is on relationships, and I want to try and keep this one under 10 minutes, so there may be a part 2 and 3 on this topic. It is a big topic. I cover it quite a lot with clients, whether it's their personal relationships, as in how they relate to themselves, their relationships with the earth, how they perceive everything, and of course the relationship that they have with other people and their significant other or others, as we'll cover. Now I've got a few notes here as well because I want to just cover a couple of quick main points. Again, I mean, this is a huge topic. This is like nutrition. I mean, I could do hours and hours of this topic alone, but what I'm going to do is just to kick off, I'd recommend if you watch a video by Chek. It's called the I, We, All of Relationships, and I'll put a link to that down the bottom in the description. Now Paul covers the relationships in a very, very good way, but what I'm going to do is present it in another way that relates to how the Matrix brings us to think that the relationship should be, and it's why, you know, it just doesn't work. I mean, if you really think that relationships work, just look around and tell me that you think that they work. Tell me that you've had enough. I mean, we're here to have experiences on earth, right? So I'm not saying that, you know, having relationships with people and they don't work and something happens and we, you know, it's all a growing experience. So I'm not saying that people are doing it wrong. But look, everyone's the greatest lovers and everyone's the greatest drivers, but go and spend 10 minutes, half an hour out on the road and tell me people can drive. You know, it's just if you really take a step back and be honest about things, tell me you think that they work. So, what I'm going to do is present a different way to look at it. It's not the only way you can look at things, but if we can at least admit that things don't work the way they are, let's just have a look at another way we could approach things that may actually bring us more fulfillment and better relationships, not only with ourselves, but with the people that we bring into our lives. So, starting off down here, you've got you. And you'll notice here that you here are a whole. And a lot of people approach, they want to bring somebody in to make them whole, but it just doesn't work that way. It's from this point up, everything here is just going to keep deteriorating the more that you're not whole down here. So here is you, here's you, you're happy, you probably can't see this down here, but you're happy, you're living your life, and when you live your life the way you want to live your life, you'll attract the right people into your life. You don't have to go and cut your hair a certain way, or be a different type of person, or wear these clothes, or hang out with this crowd, or listen to that music. You just be you, and you being you, I don't care if you don't get as many people, you'll attract the right people into your life. So now, what we're going to do is have a look at this progression. Now, you can probably see I've got arrows going up to the top here. Now, what most people do, because of the Matrix, I'm not going to cover marriage today. Marriage is just a topic all of its own. But let's just say, you know, the main goal is a one-on-one marriage or a monogamous relationship, or however you want to look at that. And most people go from here and they go straight to here. And at least if we can agree already, as I said, that it just doesn't work. I mean, look at how many people get married, then start resenting each other. Look at how many people end up in divorce. It really doesn't work. And if you want to know why people think you want to go from here to here, it's because we've watched movies. We've watched Disney cartoons. And I mean, even with clients that, it's the same way it happens in the Matrix movie, right? There's that guy that, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but anyway, there's a guy that's about to eat a steak, and he knows full well that that steak isn't real. But he chooses, as much as he knows that it's not real and the world and life beyond that is what's real, he still chooses just to eat the steak because he's so ingrained, that Matrix is so ingrained in him that he really wants to eat the steak. And I've helped a few women get over their attachment to relationships, attachment to men, and how their relationship with another man, with a man, really defines them and who they are in this world. At least that's how they perceive things to be, which of course is false. But, and I'll break that down, I'll break down all the dogma and expose the Matrix to them, yet it is still so ingrained that they're willing to go another 20 or 30 years of not really living life, just so they can walk down the aisle again. It's that ingrained, it's just, you know, there's only so much you can do for people. You can, like say, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So now, what I want to do is introduce, you're a man or a woman here, and what I want to introduce to you is perhaps the first level that you should start looking at. What we have here is we have one-offs, and obviously we're talking about sex here. I mean, kids can watch this video, I'm not going to go into any gruesome details, so this is still all ages. We have one-offs, casuals. This is how you learn. This is a learning experience. This is how, when you get to here, you know what to do. You know, you want to, if you're with a person, you need to fulfill them on all levels, and sexually is one of those. And I find it really surprising how how much people are willing to enter into what I call convenience relationships. They're not loving relationships. I mean, I'm sure they had a bit of lust for each other at the start, but there's a lot. If sex is removed from a relationship and it's not based in a big part on that, why don't you just have a best friend? Don't kid yourself. So you want to be good at things. So that's why the one-offs and the casuals are there. Now we have two other categories here. One is, we'll keep it clean, call them fun buddies. These are people that, every now and then you'll just get together for fun and fun only. Then over here we have a very rare bird. This is the friend with benefits. And this is somebody that we can hang out with, we are friends with, but we still have the benefits of the fun buddy. Now this is very, very rare. Rare because for a lot of people that can't work. They have too much caught up in their emotions and their attachments to different things for that to work. Can work, I've had that work a few times and it's great. Now the next level above that, if we follow the arrows up, is that we get to this point where we perhaps have primary, secondary, tertiary girlfriends, boyfriends. Now I know that's going to raise some alarm bells in your beliefs at this stage, but if you think of it this way, again, if we just realise that going to the top doesn't work, let's just consider that we can have this in the meantime. And what happens is these are people that grow beyond this lower level, and they're people that we really we have a much deeper connection and a much deeper feel for these people. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have them all at one time. It works, believe me, it works. It's not that you can't have multiple partners at one time. And obviously, we're assuming here that we're all intelligent people, and we're not just, that's not a crack addict, that's not a whatever, we're not sharing STDs, we're not just, you know what I mean? Just be sensible about this sort of stuff. I'm not talking about that kind of thing. Now, what I want to do here is, again, I'll put this into the description down the bottom. Brent Smith, who runs BSL Lifestyle, anyway, you'll see his link in the bottom. He's got a great video. It's called How to Get Someone to Commit to a Relationship. And I recommend that you watch that because he covers a lot of things that I'm alluding to here, but he says it really well, so I'll just let him speak on that part of things. And again, I recommend you watch Paul's video as well. So between those two, it'll give a good idea of how you can approach having a good relationship with another person. So if we just even take out the fact that a lot of people think that this is the highest achievement in life is to have a partner and this, that and the other. It's just not. The whole purpose of life is to live and to create. And to create means to create children. That's one form of creation. It just doesn't mean you have to go and enter into this. And that's why this topic can take such a long time to cover in its entirety. But just even take out for the moment your belief that that's what we're all striving for, because we're not. Again, it just doesn't work. It does work if you do it right, but we're brought up in the matrix, and we're taught about relationships by our parents that maybe had two partners their whole life and then they got married and had kids and whatever. Who are they to teach you about relationships? It's just, and stories, movies, books, it's all this fantasy stuff. It's there to get you to believe one way, and it works because look at how many people want to be the princess or the prince or whatever. Again, this for other videos, but I'm just sort of setting the stage at this point. So don't be afraid to have multiple people in your life. Now this might only be one person at one time, right? But it's not like a monogamous thing. It's not like I'm fully committed to you. Because the way we get to there is that if you have some people in your life and other people still seem really attractive to you, again, this is just another way to look at things. I'm not saying this is the only way. But if other people still seem attractive to you, it should just bring up some sort of, question you that perhaps I'm still on a journey, I'm still on a path, I'm still attracting the right people. Don't just settle, don't just go, oh my God, they tick 95% of the boxes or something. I don't even know why we have boxes in the first place, but just, again, try to grow beyond this. Try not to be so small-minded. Allow yourself to grow, allow your consciousness to grow, and allow the possibility of other things to enter into your life. So we get to this stage by having people in our lives, and then we might come across one person and they'll be brought into it'll be kind of like a light, and then other people seem to fade. They fade in significance. They fade in attractiveness. So if you're hanging out with, say, this person over here, and all these other people, they'll come into your life, but they'll fade, they'll drop away. It doesn't mean you're not friends with them and you disclude them from your lives. I've come through having, friends and that they get married, and then all of a sudden we're married now, and it's this big thing and it's whatever. and then, they don't have time for their friends. You're like on the outside of their little inner circle. And I guarantee 6 months down the track, or, a couple of years, they're not, Mary Jane all that's cracked up to be, especially for those people. But and especially when people start to, push others away. Oh no, it's we're married. No, you're not. It happens a lot, and I see it a lot. So the point is that you can allow people to. You're not pushing them away. It's not like that example I just gave. It's just that people just don't have the same attractiveness. They're like dull compared to the light of this one other person, or two at this stage, whatever it is. Let's just say it's one. Now that's the stage that you'll get to here, and I've drawn a yin-yang, and I've drawn the spiral too. So this is yin and yang, this is one body. This is when two people coalesce, and they're like one body. They're not two separate people, they've got their own aura, and it's two people that are just, you know what I'm getting at there. And this is a spiral that represents growth. This isn't like the continuum where, okay, now we're here, we were born here, we met here, and we're going to spend this much time together. The spiral will tell you how much time you're going to spend together. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's a forever thing. That's just at this moment in time, you two are just, that's it. You two are it. Now this is having no expectations. In here, when we set expectations for ourselves, for our partners, for what we think our life is meant to be, or what our marriage is meant to be, again, I'll get into that, don't get married. But when we put expectations on it, it kills it. It just kills it. And matrix belief, just know that most of your beliefs, that's what the matrix is. It's made up of beliefs, and it's just it's keeping you from the much broader, bigger reality that life actually entails and what it has for you. And whatever experiences you're having here, trust me, it's just got nothing on what exists beyond these little experiences that you're having now. So this is the point where this is a point where you can create a new life, bring a child into the world. It's based on love, and I'm going to have a video series up on having a healthy baby, and this is the starting point. This is the starting point of it all. So, you have, kids will come into the world, and sometimes, kids will come into the world at these points as well, and, don't kid yourself, they weren't planned. But we choose to be here one way or another, and if a child has chosen to come through you at that point in time, it's coming through because it needs to learn some things. I mean, not a lot of us had ideal childhoods. Not a lot of us had properly loving parents. And while it scars us in some ways, it teaches us a little bit about life. And it teaches us to have experiences that are going to help us grow and expand in our consciousness. And that, that's the journey of life. So we don't all have to be these super beings and having super babies. It's not necessarily the point of life. But if you're at the stage where you're open to that and you're open to growth and you want to have the healthiest baby possible, that's what I'm going to be covering in some future videos. So to wrap up part one of relationships, just consider this as another way of doing things. Again, if we can just admit that the current way doesn't work and it's just hurting you and it's not leading to happiness, just perhaps consider some other ways of approaching it. Now that means letting go of beliefs, and I know that can be very painful and very hard for some people, but it's just a decision that's it's as easy as clicking your fingers. You can decide, you can change in one moment. It doesn't take a whole process. You don't have to do a bunch of things first. You don't have to read 3 more books. You can just choose. And you're doing it or you're not. I'll bring this up in a lot of different ways. You're doing it or you're not. If you're going to do it, do it. If you're not going to do it, just shut up. Don't whinge, don't complain. It means you love your problems. Just go on loving your problems until you're willing to change. Then change. It'll just happen like that. So just to wrap up with a couple of quotes from OSHO, I think I might just paste them in here, or you can just do some research on your own. I like opening some doors for people and then letting them do the research on their own. If I was just to sit here and spout quotes to you, it's not quite the same as you coming and finding them. But OSHO will say, if there's jealousy, know well that there is no love. If you really love somebody, you're not jealous of anything that they do. You're not jealous of them talking or looking at another person. There's no anger. There's none of this stuff that exists in so many relationships today. So just keep that in mind. I recommend you check out a few of Osho's quotes. It'll really open you up to another world of love and what love actually is and what it isn't, because it goes into the way a lot of people, think that they have love in their lives and they don't. And I'll wrap up just by giving you an example of, again, it's like a matrix example. A lot of people, you can, as long as you're aware, you can go straight from here to here. And as long as you're aware, don't kid yourself that you're in love. It's like a large person, I'll just call them large, so a large person sitting there eating burgers and just pretending that it doesn't matter, it's fine for them to eat burgers. And then a lot of people think that my examples are extreme. They're like, oh, how can you compare love to burgers and whatever? But energetically, it's the same thing. It's having something, just kidding yourself that it's fine and it's good for you. So on an energetic level, burgers and love are the same thing. It's all, if you understand where I'm getting at there. So that'll wrap up part 1. Any questions, feel free to write in. I'm going to cover this, I'm going to go into this in a lot more detail in subsequent videos, but if you have specific questions, please feel free to write in, and I will see you on the next video. Take it easy.